and how we can make use of this technology to develop developing like cloud, mostly in the supply chain. So yeah, just brief about blockchain. Let me just take a quick survey. Does anybody in the audience know about crypto mining? So yeah, so we have pretty good audience here. And how about Bitcoin? So yeah, so I feel like blockchain will be pretty interesting, for as we all, most of us know. And how about regarding I think all of us know Amazon supply chain, right? So that's so supply chain. One of the good use case of the blockchain is a supply chain. So blockchain is new, disruptive, as well as a bleeding edge technology. Bleeding edge in the sense because there are this centralized database and centralized system who kind of is examining or testing the effectiveness, efficiency of the blockchain, and it's kind of just very in very infant stage. So blockchain is a tamper evident shared digital ledger that records transaction in a public or private peer-to-peer network. Distributed to all member nodes in the network, the ledger permanently records in a sequential chain of cryptographic hash-linked blocks the history of assets exchange that take place between the peers in the network. With blockchain, we can imagine a world in which contracts are embedded in digital code and stored in transparent, safe databases where they are protected from deletion, tampering, and revision. In this world, every agreement, every process, every tax, and every payment would have a digital record and signature that would be identified, validated, stored, and saved. Intermediaries like lawyers, brokers, and bankers might no longer be necessary. Individuals, organizations, machines, and algorithms would freely transact and interact with one another with little friction. This is the immense potential of blockchain. So that's very strong statement over there. So it's that's what I got from the Harvard Business Review. So yeah, just visualizing the blockchain as hashing. So hashing is encryption. So like Bitcoin is a 256 encryption. So when we talk about hashing, this simple example might be able to kind of have you get a better picture about hashing. So as we have gone through high school algebra, over there we were being taught when we have a variable like a5, b2, and when we add them, the product is 7. So what a does is it has the value of 5 and b has the value of 2. So in that way, this is a variable, but there is a pointer. Pointer is a concept where in pointer, it will contain the address of the value it holds. So if a is a pointer, then it will hold the value. It will hold the address of 5. The value 5's address will be in the a's pointer. So that's a pointer. So and going forward, there is this linked list. So linked list is like the pointer, and it connects to another data, another pointer there. So this diagram will be able to give you a better picture. So as we see here, the previous block header, the hash of previous block header will also be provided in the blockchain. So when somebody changes the hash of one of the block, it will jeopardize the hash, and that will kind of as we have in distributed ledger, there will be multiple replicas with different nodes for different organizations. So if one of the hash is being changed or altered, that node will be taken out of the network because of it is different than the replica within the network. So yeah, as here the blockchain is a linked list which contains data and a hash pointer which points to its previous block, hence creating change. what is hash pointer? It's similar to the pointer, but instead of just containing the address of the previous, like I explained earlier, like pointer contains only the address, whereas in the blockchain, hash contains both the data as well as the address of the previous block. So this one small trick is what makes blockchain so amazingly reliable and trailblazing. So as like in the news we have heard like the chairman of JP Morgan mentioned about like Bitcoin is fake, or I mean like it's not good. But like if we really look into it, all the big corporations they are already investing heavily in blockchain. So as we see, like using the digital asset holdings, like digital asset is the one they are working together with the Hyperledger. Hyperledger was IBM product, now hosted by the Linux Foundation. So as we see, like a lot of big corporations, they are already into blockchain and they are heavily investing behind the scene. ASNEngr. So this is just what I explained earlier, but in Genesis Aviation platform. So here the scanned documents, those are the documents that will be uploaded into the GSC blockchain. In the beginning, like developers will be creating the hash links because the new supplier or even the new buyers, they might not be able to do the technology themselves. So the GSC team will be helping that to create those hash links and uploading in the blockchain. And like our platform will be the ERC20, the Ethereum ecosystem. So in that way, we have all those data, and like Ethereum is like Ethereum is the now it's becoming popular because we can write a program. Like Bitcoin is the first blockchain implementation, but over there we cannot write a program. So that's why, like within the development community, Ethereum is popular. So this is the problem statement of the GSC: knowing the source of all parts, maintenance records of parts, locate supplier of the components. Whenever there is, whenever an airlines gets grounded, it takes a lot of time to get all those parts repaired. So our platform will help facilitate and get the plane on air. So this is just a small diagram on our platform. So we have like supplier, manufacturer, and we have the contingency management and the maintenance, repair, and overhaul. So we have like cross check and balances, so that whenever there is a fault in the network or even in the data while purchased, they will be identified and being notified. So manufacturer submits the documents in the web, and that gets hashed into the blockchain database of GSC. So that's just more process involved. So yeah, hash, regarding the hash I already talked earlier. And regarding the transaction is the encrypted process. So with the hash, when that hash is being logged, entered in the blockchain, then that is called the transaction. So that's an encrypted process, and when it gets into the blockchain, then that is not immutable. So everybody it's transparent that when the transaction took place. Like say if when we submit a application, and if somebody the recipient said that I did not receive it or something, then that cannot happen in term of blockchain, because that's transparency, and we can check that in the transaction ID. So yeah, just more data flow. So yeah, same more data flow on here. So as a result, what we expect is the global safety in aviation. So this platform as a whole improves the whole process of identifying the supplier, aviation parts, and selecting the manufacturing. So as we have because in the aviation, the supplier, identifying the valid supplier is the main problem, because there might be a buyer, but there might be a lot of copyrighted all those devices and repair parts in the market. So this industry is really is seeking for a blockchain technology. Like recently we heard like Lufthansa also is into the blockchain for the aviation. So yeah, this is like if you want to reach me with if you have any question, you can contact me, and there are like some of the links for connection. So yeah, that's the plane. I landed safely yesterday. So references. Yeah, that's it for my presentation. Any questions? So if there is time, I would like